I'm your Black Lex today, baby. Now you ain't never gotta like me, that shit is overrated. You need a hero to love, I'll be the villain that you hated. When it's all said and done, you gon' love me. Me kissing babies, fucking ladies thinking of me. Cause I'm the villain, the bad guy, the one that's supposed to lose. But I'm American, baby, so the rules all skewed for me. Steal your identity, fuck up your credit for free. Police know it's stolen, but they still make you pay the fee. And you don't respect me, for real? I'm the one that's showing you what the real world is. All these backroom deals for your kids' future. My financial aid hustle keep your kids mooching. And while you motherfuckers still stupid, the Statue of Liberty married the country, divorced and now the bitch still moving. With half of the money, alimony, child support. You know what's up when I be winning in the court, cause I'm the villain, the bad guy, the numero uno, the one that y'all hate to see. Cause I'm the big dog, the head honcho, HNIC, everybody wants to be. Damn right, I'm the villain, the bad guy, the numero uno, the one that y'all hate to see. Cause I'm the big dog, the head honcho, HNIC, everybody wants to be. They try to tell me thou shalt not steal. In the same church they tell me Jesus white, is they for real? They try to say the land of the free, minus the slavery, plus the fact that you pay for land these folks stole for free. And you wanna be Superman. Did you forget that Lex Luthor became the president? You lacking common sense, that's why the villain lives. That's why the villain's right. They turn on Superman, man, they turn on Jesus Christ. Even the devil got teams like Arizona State, Duke, the state of Jersey. That man say you're sold and he can't get a jersey. Y'all go to church on Sunday and you claim you're worthy. That's why I got my credit and I'm charging 10%. You finish paying me and you gon' pay me triple, bitch. So why'd I be a hero when a villain gets paid? And women like paid, so the villain gets laid. So I'ma be the villain, the bad guy, the numero uno, the one that y'all hate to see. Cause I'm the big dog, the head honcho, HNIC, everybody wants to be. Damn right, I'm the villain, the bad guy, the numero uno, the one that y'all hate to see. Cause I'm the big dog, the head honcho, HNIC, everybody wants to be. What's happening? I've had a long few days, so bear with me. Has nothing to do with the topic. Long few days. But as y'all can see with the topic, right, with the thumbnail, and I made a video sometime last week about people race baiting with this whole situation with Carmelo Anthony and Austin. I forgot, is that Austin Metcalf, right? And I've seen how they're the black conservatives who really just want to throw the black kid under the bus, whatever. And the black conservatives who are like, listen, we got to be consistent if we're going to do the self-defense thing. And I've seen the response to them, right? And even the non-black conservatives that are like, yo, we can't say this one's self-defense and this one's not. Just in premise, not even action, but just premise, right? So for years, people have been saying, like, blacks who are conservatives, Republicans, they're coons. They're just coons. And the problem they'll say, the conservatives will say, the Democrats or the liberals are just soft. And in all honesty, man, it becomes a situation where let's just call a spade a spade. The majority of black conservatives are just black people who want to be white. and want to be accepted by white people. And that's the same thing when you got the Hispanic conservatives like that, the Asian conservatives like that, even the guys who, I don't know if they're Asian or Arab. It's the same exact thing. You know, white is right, white is better, and it's really stupid because they act like it's not white people that are Democrats or liberals. And it's like, yeah, but it's the white people that are the conservatives that they gravitate to, and a lot of that is just those are the white people who have, a passive aggressive racism, who they gonna look at you crazy, but they're not gonna say nothing. You know, they gonna get a job somewhere and screw you over from their position and then give you the look like, yeah, I did it, but you can't prove it. Like that's those people, right? So what winds up happening is you got a lot of these, black conservatives who it's like, hey man, I understand it, man. Social media has given you a platform, and white people have put you in a position. Sometimes it's their people's their own platform, and sometimes their platform has them catering to a certain crowd, which is predominantly racist white people. And people try to go, oh, just because we have political views, it doesn't mean we're racist. That's the problem. A lot of this is no real political view. The politics of it is all racial. So that's not a political view. That's just a racial view hidden behind politics. That's why you have the, people who go extra hard about, the immigration thing. Get them all out. Okay. The people who go extra hard about, what do you call that? What do you call that? Oh, China's, we got to destroy China because they're undermining America. It's like, bro, you have no idea what's going. Trump's doing everything right, and Joe Biden made us look weak. And it's like, listen, can we just call a spade a spade? Most of the presidents in American history didn't do a good job. The vast majority of them, but a lot of you folks who want to be conservatives this way, y'all don't have common sense. And this is where it starts. Since we're gonna go, since I got to do the racial thing, it looks like just from the eye test. So I can do the eye test. The majority of black conservatives that are on social media and have platforms and have these ways of, black people this, black people like that, and black people like this, black people like that, and, and white people can't say it, but I can say it. The vast majority of them either are with a white significant other, whether they be married or just single or in a relationship, or they're single and for the most part they're interracial daters. They have self-hate issues. I know people like to say, what about this person or that person? Usually that's the minority of people. That's the sad thing about it. And the reason I got to get into this is because I've been on YouTube for a minute, man. I've seen numerous black people grow their channel by being a conservative that only disparages black America. I've seen plenty of them. That's actually whether you're a black man or black woman, that's an easy content strategy to just grow your subscribership by tens of thousands or maybe 100,000. Just every time you see a story and it's got somebody black in it and somebody white in it, just always demonize the black person. That's all you got to do. You're going to have a bunch of white people coming to your page. Yeah. As Americans, we think like Americans. That's true. They don't know what they're really talking about. They don't love the country, blah, blah, blah. But what winds up happening is you have this whole conservative ideology. And a lot of it is just being assimilated, a neutered black person. And I'm not saying you got to be, as people go, you got to be super woke. You got to walk around, you know, with an afro, wearing all black with your Black Panthers gear on, fist in the air. No, you ain't got to do all that either. But I I know somebody with the soul of a sellout when I see it, and that becomes the issue. Because a lot of you, like I said, y'all self hating. You got done. What's going on, Mahogany? Uh, you got done. You feel like you got done bad by black people. So, hey man, I'm scorned, by my own people, and it be your own people sometimes, and I get it. But at the same time, you know what happens when white people stab you in the back, disrespect you. You don't say anything, and it becomes one of those things where um, that conservative ideology that people are hiding behind, it has a bit of what do you call that? I'm trying to think of it. It has a racist overtone and a bully undertone, right? You know what I'm saying? I said I hate everyone equally. I don't. I'm gonna get to that, but it has that thing to it, right? Where you on one hand, like I said, it's a racist overtone, it's a bully undertone, but it's one of those things where yeah, it's all talk. It's all talk. Everything is like a subliminal. I would love to purge America. It's a subliminal. Ooh, this is why I love the Second Amendment, because in my mind I'm out here shooting, black people, but I'm shooting zombies. But what I'm saying, if there was a race war, I could just kill these women and children. Yeah, yeah, and all this, and these black people just gonna come into my neighborhood and kick my door down, and so I always got to be prepared to shoot everybody in every scenario, except for white people. Because we're all on the same team, and if I see a black person, he got to give me the I'm one of the good ones. It's stupid. And that's the same thing. Hating everyone equally. I mean, I don't believe people hate people, and I'm gonna tell you why I say that. Um, if you hate somebody, you're gonna do something to them. When you hate people, you do something. It's like it's on site. A lot of people, what they do is, and I'm gonna just say it this way: America, and even you could say white supremacy, is built on befriending somebody you hate. Like, I'm gonna be cool with you because I'm not really going, because I don't want you to know that I'm really plotting on you. I'm gonna be your friend, because if I walk up to you, because if how conservatives act, and some of these Republicans act, I'm a man, I'm a man's man. I grew up my beard, and I got a camel hat on, and don't tread on me, and I got a black flag, and it's like whatever. But I won't come up to your face and say, hey, it I hate you. Let's get it. You know what time it is. It won't do that. People won't do that. People will pick on people's kids. People pick on disabled people. People pick on old men and old women. People pick on women. People, call a few friends and call in a few favors, to feel like to network how to get somebody, but they never. And hopefully you get them, right? You get them, and then you walk around when they're in the cell and you go, it was me that made all of these calls and did absolutely nothing because I hate you. And it's like, yeah, okay. All right. So this is a cowardly, it's cowardly. It's a cowardly nation. And a lot of these, black conservatives, they're cowards too. Because you can't tell me you stand for the First Amendment and the Second Amendment and and law and order and tradition and family values and the traditions of America. And every time you have a color scenario, a racial scenario, you flip flop. You know, so it's like you flip flop, flip flop, flip flop. you know, I believe in free speech. Okay, now, but you can't talk to the white people like that. Okay, okay. I believe in the Second Amendment. Okay. But you can't be the one with the gun. Okay, okay. You know, I believe in what do you got? I believe in the law and follow the law. You know, if it's a guilty, it's a guilty. If it's a innocent, it's an innocent. But if you change the race, if it's a black person that's innocent, the system is broken. It's like, oh, okay, this is what this is now. You know, so we go from even traditional values, right? I'm into traditionalism and traditional values and the family values. It's hypocritical, man. And I'm not saying you can't gravitate to somebody that in some ways is the antithesis to what you believe, but at the same token, you got to at least be able to point it out. I'm in the traditional family values. So so you like Trump for other things because it's not traditional family values. I can tell you that right now. You know, I'm in the traditional family values. Yeah, but you like Elon Musk though, right? In his traditional family values, right? Yeah, you get what I'm saying? Like, be able to go, okay, listen. If a white guy out here, if getting 50-11 baby mamas like the rappers, if a white guy out here, married them, knocking them up, bouncing, divorce, knocking them up, bouncing, if he's doing it, not a big deal. Not a big deal. But hey, man, we just gonna play like, we're gonna play like, hey, man, it's a little different though because it's a white guy that I like that believes what I believes. He has these great values. And it's like, all right, whatever, man. Y'all just self-hating, bro. Y'all just self-hating, bro. Let's just call a spade a spade. And then, you have these incidents where, excuse me, where you say you want people to come to this country and respect America. And I absolutely agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. If you're going to come to this country, come respect the country. I absolutely agree to that. But you're going to have to at some point address the fact there are a lot of Americans historically that have gone to other countries causing chaos. All the way from, the president down to just the original white passport bros who was just, just going messing up stuff everywhere. So a lot of this stuff that we talking about, that keeps happening because of that keeps being brought to the masses because of the social media and media. We got to call a spade, man. The vast majority of you black conservatives, y'all just race baiters. That's all you are, race baiters. For attention, race baiters for money, race baiters to be trolls, because all of a sudden, it's this, it's that, it's politics. And it's like, give me 1 second. Because I had to pause for a second and say this, and I'm going to say this throughout this whole thing. It's not political. People aren't really talking politics. They're not. They're talking racism with a sprinkle of politics. This is why you get all these dumb but supposed to be smart moments where, it's, you don't understand the policies, and what about the, this news thing that we're doing? You can't explain what's going on. You can't explain what's going on. You know why? Because it don't make sense. And part of this fake political circus is the same thing where it's no nice way to say this. Part of this fake political circus is I need a story to get you riled up and emotional during a week because I don't know politics. And the politics aren't really politics. It's just stupid stuff. This is why it's like this. Oh, we got another national story today about something that's really nothing. And it gets you stirred up. You go, oh, them black people, oh, them Mexicans, oh. He said politics isn't war without money. That's just, honestly, fam, these politicians ain't going to war. You talking about a bunch of old, fat, weak, out of shape people who just arguing all the time. Politicians are just overpaid pawns for corporations. That's what politicians really are. Somebody's paying them. Johnson & Johnson is your politician. You get what I'm saying? Big Oil is actually your politician. What do you call that? The weapons industry is actually your politician. The people you see walking around in these suits, people don't know I'll say 85% of these people's names. And to be perfectly honest with you, probably 75% of these people who are politicians ain't done a thing in their job. They've done really nothing. You got to think about it. You got people who are lifetime politicians. Lifetime. 20, 30, 40-year politicians. And even with those people, you can only think of 2 or 3 things that they did. That's ineffective. That's inefficient. And actually that's the backdrop. Even though I'm talking about this, that's the backdrop for Elon Musk and Doge. Because politics is just a corporation paid these people to make a 800-page bill and sneak some stuff in it that they really wanted, because your politicians don't read. Think about that. The American politicians don't read, because they dropping all these bills, 500 pages, 1,000 pages. Don't nobody know what's in it. They giving it to an intern or a clerk, and they telling them to thumb through it, and they got to give them the cliff notes, and they don't really know because this caught their attention on page 20, but this thing in a small paragraph on page 432 is really what it's about. Nobody, and they never figured it out all the time. And it's the same thing, like I said, when you get self-hating conservatives. You're like, oh, they don't know what's really going on. They just know, hey man, I don't like black people too. And I'm black. And in all honesty, part of this self-hating black conservative is a part of, and you can say that on both sides, black conservatives, black liberals. The part of what Tariq Nasheed talks about with the tether thing. It's people who come here and who and they use politics as we black, but I ain't really black, but we black, and it's like, oh, okay. And self-hating is part of that. You know, self-hating is part of that. How many people you saw, there are black people who are actually black Americans who are anti-black, and then there are black conservatives who are not black Americans that are just saying the same thing. And it's like, bro, what is you talking about? Like, how come you never talk about your community? And that's another part of it. For the black people, it's like, we don't believe you because you only talk about black America. You don't really have anything constructive to say about America. And I'm not going to say just black America. When white America does something, when white conservative America does something, when white Republican America does something, you hush. You don't have the same courage. You don't have the same amount of balls. You're not really you're not ready to stand on business and pound the table for anything. So it's like you're fake. You're frauds. You're frauds. And then for the black conservatives that are not black Americans, it's like, bro, how about if you're black and you're a conservative and you're anti-black, when something happens and you're a black Caribbean, talk about black Caribbeans. Talk, just like the thing they had with Candace Owens was like, I have a Caribbean bias. You think? You knew that already, though. Y'all know what y'all doing. Y'all grown. Black Africans or black Africans, Africans who are conservatives. It becomes one of those things where, okay, talk about what's going on with Africans and talk about what's going on, in Africa, since you so anti-black. But nah, I just can't do it. It's like, man, just go hang out with white people. I remember, my dog O'Shea, he is a conservative, but I remember him back in the day having that conversation with the white conservatives, like, cussing them out. Like, yeah, I'm a conservative, but I'm not your puppet to say every racist thing you white folks want to say. Not finna do that. Not finna do that. And that's when they had an issue, right? But I also remember when they had Blexit, when they was talking about, black people and the black liberals, the black liberals, they're always looking out, reaching for handouts from the white man, and they white daddy this and white daddy that. And then what happened? Blexit was the black conservative, black Republican version of a handout. White people paid for everything, controlled everything, and they were just sitting there taking their photos. That was just, that was the black version of being in Obama's parties. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. But like I said, when you got black conservatives out here, it's like, hey man, y'all are just not honest, man. You're not honest. You're selectively outraged. You're selectively, traditional. You're selectively freedom of speech. You're selectively Second Amendment. You're selectively law and order. You're selective about stuff. You don't really. You're very inconsistent, and it all goes around the same thing: race. Race is always in the middle, and it's the same thing. Like I said, with those other groups, when you got the white dude that hooked up with the Asians to act like it was affirmative action was a black issue, and you got the Asians fighting against affirmative action, and I'm like. And it's sad to say it like that. You got the Asians like it was all Asians, but you get it because they made Asians the face of it. The same Asians, by the way, because when people say Asian, they predominantly the face of it would be like Chinese Americans, right? Or Chinese people. So you got the same Chinese people that are Chinese Americans or Japanese or Korean, you know what I'm saying? Those Americans are the face of the face of dismantling affirmative action at the same time that they're telling people that we need to China is bad, this China is bad, that the coronavirus, blah, 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 China is this and China is that. The exact same time. That's self-hatred. You get what I'm saying? That is the pinnacle of self-hatred. You know, most people aren't either. You don't have to be fully. You pick once you pick a side, you pick a side. People don't go, oh, I'm a little bit of this, I'm a little bit of that. They don't do that. They don't do that. The reason I don't like, and I'm gonna be very blunt when I say this. One of the reasons I don't like to talk about politics like that a lot is because it's disingenuous. It's just a bunch of people playing games and saying they're making genius moves when they're just playing games. Because all of this stuff is easy. In all actuality, a lot of this stuff that people consider a problem is actually easy to fix. It's actually easy to fix. And people go, well, how? Dog. Watch this. We're in a trade war, right? It's all the tariffs and the trade war and all. Oh, we got to slow down what China's doing. America got to slow down China. The same America that brought all of their technology, that brought all of the technology and manufacturing over there. That China. That's the one you outsourced to. The one you said, you know what? I don't feel like making these Nike shoes and outfits and these iPhones, and I don't feel like making these, all your car parts, and I don't feel like doing that anymore. I don't feel like making, doing certain foods anymore. I mean, I don't feel like doing that no more. And most importantly, I don't feel like paying Americans for these jobs. So I'm gonna move all this stuff to China, and and you go, and then you go, oh, we need to stop China. Stop China from what? What we got to stop China for? It's the same thing. The last time we had the coronavirus, and it was like China this and China that. You were still buying stuff from Amazon that came from China the whole time. Why? If the China, the coronavirus or the China flu came from China, but ding, you got your Amazon package came from China too. Every time, the whole time, you know. But we need to worry about America and the borders. The borders. Okay. All right. Do you know why America has? Do you know why America is like really the only country that doesn't close its borders like that? Oh, y'all think it's because it's the land of opportunity. No, it's the same reason why they moved all the manufacturing jobs to China and the Philippines and Singapore. And, it's the same reason. Because they want to pay people nothing, pennies on a dollar. That's why they want all these immigrants to come here to do, new jobs that they say, that they like to blame on black people. Oh, these are the jobs the black people are too lazy to do. We ain't seen white people doing these jobs ever. And unless you watching like a movie, you know. When you watch movies, somehow you see white people doing a lot of manual labor, but that we ain't never seen that. We ain't never seen that. Mm-mm. Nope. Sorry. So now we have that issue. That, and this is something like I said, it's a self-hating thing because You have people in America who act like they don't know how America works. It's built on, for the most part, lazy white people getting rich off of, you know, non-white people's labor. And one of the ways for black people to be able to be lazy and get paid is to what? Coon it up. Coon it up. You know, that's what that's part of the, that's part of the equation. So a lot of this is capitalism. Cooning is a form of capitalism. Being self-hating, is a form of capitalism. You know, but people don't know what capitalism is, though. See, let me say this. Here's a problem with here's a problem with America saying it being capitalistic. So on one, what you're gonna put out to the world is that we're hardworking people. If you work hard, you can make it in America. That's what they put capitalism under. It was they don't say, okay, I'm about to lie, cheat, and steal and exploit people, steal their ideas, steal their inventions, steal their labor, steal their lives for a buck. That's what they consider that's really capitalism. No, that's just scamming. In all honesty, that's just scamming. That's all that is. America is the great great granddaddy to the quote unquote Nigerian scammer. That's what just great scammers. And then we go, oh, that was smart. No, it's not. That's not smart. And I can say capitalism, the way America does capitalism isn't smart, because when you look at your politicians and when you look at your businesses and all this and this, that, and the third, why do you think everybody's having a rough time and going out of business? Let me say this. You got a head start with stealing the land from the natives, and you got a head start from hundreds of years of slavery. You got a head start with another 100 years of Jim Crow, right? You got a good head start. Civil rights was mid 60s. A lot of those policies, they were still, semi acting like it's Jim Crow and a lot of those policies in the 80s. So, let's be honest about what's really going on. And the reason I say that is because it is. What you're seeing probably since Bush became president, Bush Jr. became president in the 2000s, what you're seeing is a wave of incompetence. What we've seen over the last 20 some years is a wave of incompetence. And this is why I'm talking about, even with the topic, the self-hating black conservatives. If you're a certain age, you should know by now why the country is where it's at. And it's not because of the blacks and the laziness and the illegal immigrants. And no, it's not. No, it's not. You mad because it's a lot of drugs in America? Well, that was pretty much, Reagan Bush. That was Republicans, conservatives. I hate to break the news to you. But that's what that was. Iran Contra, yeah, that's what that was. The whole the crack era, which is used as a backdrop for the blacks are out here just killing and shooting up everything and out here dealing drugs. Yeah. Reagan Bush. Yeah. That's where that came from, buddy. But people go, oh, I don't understand. You know, okay, you don't understand. Then we fast forward, like I said, uh, um, you know, it's only street crack is not a only street drug made. Crack ain't a street drug. Crack is cocaine. Crack is cocaine. You can't get crack without cocaine. So you gotta take you meth. Meth is chemical, yeah, but they had amphetamines prior to that. But you know, but let me get back to the part I was talking about. Uh, Um, Once Bush got in office, and we could forget the war. The war is part of it because the war started the deficit. But Enron, people forget Enron. You know, the black conservatives shouldn't forget Enron. Y'all shouldn't forget the banking scandal. Y'all should have. How did y'all forget AIG? How did y'all forget the Lehman Brothers? How did y'all forget that? How did y'all forget the housing crisis? Which, by the way, the housing crisis, and that might what was that under Obama or Bush? It was one of them because it probably was bled into both of them. But you know, those predatory loans, that caused the housing crisis scandal. And why were they predatory? Because they was racist. That's why they was racist because they were preying on black people with these bad loans. It was preying on black people with them loans. So now you got that whole issue. Then you got the government bank bailout and that was Obama. The government bank bailout and the government uh, um, saving the quote unquote car industry bailout. You got that issue. So now what's that? No, Obama wasn't sabotage. Like this is why I said I don't like to. The reason why one of the major reasons why Obama became the president, I've said it before. You probably heard me say it before. When Bush said we going to war because of the Twin Towers and we going to war with Iraq, Obama I think was the only senator in America that was like, no, that's not a good idea because that's not the right people. That's actually what put him on the map. You know, he was trying to clean up a mess that shouldn't have, because of that. That was people's idea that maybe he should clean up. He might be the right one to clean up this mess, but it's too late. And by the way, part of the war, um, going to going from Iraq to Afghanistan. What was that about? Drugs. Why do y'all think y'all have an opioid crisis? What you think they got in Afghanistan? Opioids. So even when we talk about the drug problem in America, once again, you can funnel that back to, because I don't think people realize this. Vietnam, it was a drug. Vietnam had a drug element to it too. You get what I'm saying? Vietnam had that. So, what was that the Vietnam Desert Storm? Not so much. But Operation Iraqi Freedom, that was a drug element to it. So all of this stuff that people have an issue with, that even black conservatives have an issue with, they never say, "Oh man, that's kind of a, you know, it's kind of a Republican conservative problem." We create problems, and when the problems exist, we go, "Look at them black folks." It's like, look at them black folks with the problem that we created. It's like, doesn't matter who's part of the 1%. Doesn't matter. I'm not talking about being part of the 1%. I'm not. But what I am saying is a lot of what's going on at this particular juncture That's why I was going to get into the nepotism earlier, but I just had to put a backdrop to that. You got a bunch of people in a bunch of high positions for decades who don't know what they're doing. They're complete utter imbeciles. But you know what? As long as they get paid a lot of money and they can go golfing, and drink a lot of beer and just say I'm rich, there we go. We can't, like, black conservatives don't want to talk about the plethora of political incompetence. Oh, it's the woke, it's the woke left, and the woke left, and the gay agenda. Yeah, it's a gay agenda. Okay, gay agenda ain't the reason why this country is 30 plus $1 trillion in debt. It's not the gay agenda. That's not what it is. It's the blacks. No, that's not why the country is $30 trillion in debt. Nope, it's not. Nope, it's not. Mm-mm. Inflation. Yeah, I wonder why. Why is inflation so high? Oh, it's what? It's what? It's immigration. It's the blacks. It's what? What is China? No, it's not. See, there comes a point where this dog and pony show, this smoke and mirror show, this little political circus, people, at some point, people are gonna start going, you know what? Y'all just playing games because there's nothing to conserve. Like part of being a conservative is supposed to be, conservation, and that was always the issue with politics, even in my lifetime. Republicans were supposed to be conservatives, but somehow Republicans were bad with money management when they were in political office. When they had the presidency and the Senate, what I'm saying, they were just bad with money. And Democrats were supposed to be, just all these soft people who just want social issues, but somehow they was better with money. With the social issue, that they were in the social issues and the fluff of America to make you feel good, but they couldn't run the country, but they was better with money. And it didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. You know, uh, yeah, they're not low key. They're not low key. They high key destroying, have destroyed America. But that's the issue. Like black conservatives don't say, yo, man, you know, black conservatives can't say um Republicans are destroying America. They can't say white conservatives are destroying America. And it's blatant, you know. They I, I, you can't trust me, they bad with money. They're bad with money. The reason I'm saying they're bad with money is because it's it's a situation where you're stealing money that keeps getting printed basically every year, and you're bad with it. You're bad with it every year. You get what I'm saying? You got a bunch of people who look at it like they're winning the lottery every year because they're closest to the printing press, and they go, oh, we're gonna just print some more. Deficit, we're gonna print some more. Ukraine, we're gonna print some more. Like, oh God. But notice, and this is why I'm saying what I'm saying. This is why I'm saying what I'm saying. Every year there's a natural disaster in America. Every year. There's multiple natural disasters in America. Every year. And every year when a natural disaster in America happens, the government don't know how to. I don't think we have money. We might not have money for FEMA. We might not have money to help out. We might not have money. I don't know, man. It's pushing it, man. The houses are burning down. We might not have money. The insurance company might not have money. Oh, hurricanes. earthquakes, floods, fires. We don't have money, and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, man, we got yeah. Yeah, Ukraine, 20 billion. Like what? What are we talking about here? Oh, what what country in Europe, you know, in it needs money? Got them. Middle East, they need money? Got them. All of a sudden, oh, hurricane hit. Oh, they don't have no money. It's like, and it's weird because you don't really hear black conservatives say, "Yo, we can't keep being pro America and Americans first, and we don't want the immigrants and we don't want this. We need to stop helping other countries." But all of a sudden, we don't say, "Hey, man, if something keeps happening to Americans and we don't do nothing, we got problems." You know, oh Lord, I don't even want to know. I've been seeing them shenanigans for so long. I don't even want to know. You know, he said Katrina, Katrina, you got to Katrina. You think? Oh, hold up. Okay, yeah, Katrina's one of them. You remember when New York flooded? Y'all remember when the hurricanes hit the Carolinas a few years back and they flooded? What about the hurricane that caused floods all the way from Texas to like Indiana? You know, Katrina. I was born in New Orleans. It don't still look like a war. It don't look like a war zone in New Orleans. It looked like New Orleans. You know, but it was a flood that destroyed most of Houston. Some years back. Oh well, yeah, okay, got you. I got you. I'm sorry. In the rural part, you're right. I'm a jerk, and I apologize because Mississippi got towed up, and the rural parts of Louisiana got towed up. You absolutely right. You know they had those floods in Tennessee. And they can't do nothing. You know they can't do nothing. Can't do nothing for the country. It's like this is ridiculous. Harvey, thank you. But we gotta have all these issues. We have all of these issues. Black conservatives don't say, "Hey man, we need to care about Americans." No, because even black conservatives know they're hypocrites because the Americans they want to be cared about is white Americans. Everybody else can go to hell. And that's why I say black conservatives are self-hating because they're the consummate Uncle Ruckus. We gotta do for the white people and help the white people and save the white people and put the white people on the pedestal. And what if the white people are not the ones that are suffering? Well, well, well. If they're not suffering, you know, we're going they're gonna buy guns. That's what they're gonna do. They're gonna buy guns and say, if you don't help us first, we're gonna shoot up the country. And that's another little issue that's always like in the backdrop because the one thing, like I said, is the racism slash bullying of being a conservative now is this. There's always this undertone of if we don't get our way, we gonna shoot up the country. But we so American. If y'all don't do what we want to do, we buy guns. We gonna shoot up the country. Here, newsflash. America is full of guns. It ain't just Republicans and conservatives that bought them. Yeah, some of these pink-haired and blue-haired liberals, they got guns. They got guns. Okay, and if y'all really want to be honest about this, let me tell you, y'all, what a lot of this posturing is. A lot of y'all conservatives are actually, how can I put this? Y'all just liberals. Y'all just super liberals without dyed hair. Where y'all got the whole tattoo look from? The liberals. Yeah, because y'all didn't you want it wasn't really a soldier thing at first. It really wasn't a biker kind culture, kind of, but the all the super tattooed stuff that people, why do you have tattoos from your wrist all the way to your neck? That was frowned upon. That was liberal. That was too artsy. Now y'all tatted up, sleeved up, you know, with a beard and a weird hairstyle. You're just a liberal with a pistol. That's it. And then you got you black folks like, oh, you know, they, I don't want, I don't want to look like these thugs. Funny, you think so? What you think a thug is a black person with tattoos, a hat turned backwards, and a gun on them. And look at you, tattoos with a hat turned backwards and a gun on you. But but I talk more assimilated. You see, I don't say yo, what's happening, my people. I got a different hat. It's not a baseball. It has a flag on it. Get out of here. Just get out of here. You know. Yeah. I'm not. Trust me. I talked on the other party is it too. You know. So liberal. You know. You die for these people. You thought people was trying to die for greater prosperity? Mm-mm. That's a fallacy. They say join. That's a fallacy. No, nobody. This country wasn't set up by people who wanted to die for prosperity. This country is set up about people who wanted to kill people for prosperity. That's what this is. That's what this country is about. Think about it. You know, when people came from Europe to America, the natives who seemed to be primitive, as people like wanted to play that game, they was feeding and clothing these people and housing them, and they were living so good that they didn't want to join. They wanted to kill them for their stuff. And then after they killed them and got their stuff, they didn't know how to do that. They didn't know how to maintain their stuff. That's what America is. Good night, chaos. That's what America is. You know that's the you know it, yeah, but from disease, right? From diseases, right? Diseases that they gave them. I feel you on that. Slavery. People, oh, we're enslaving people, for prosperity. No, the laziness. It's crazy stuff. But all and the reason why I'm incorporating all this stuff while I'm going at it is not because I'm like scatterbrained. It's just I got to put all of this. I'm putting it all together to say that, in essence, you know, right? Because a lot of this stuff is hypocritical. It's hypocritical to say, on one hand, you know, don't be a victim. I don't need your victim mentality. And on the other hand, if somebody makes you a victim, then you crying to the cops. That don't make sense. You know what I'm saying? So basically, if a white person does something to you, that's wrong. You're being a victim if you say something about it, or you're being a victim if you defend yourself. But if you do something to somebody white, and they say it's wrong, when you go stop being a victim, they go, oh, you're an animal. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. You know, it's too much hypocrisy. If you gonna stand on an extreme side, you got to stand on an extreme side. Dog, what's up with you? How you been doing? Don't- Yeah, they're not gonna provide, but it's not they can't provide for themselves now. You know that becomes an issue, and this is why I'm getting at. That's an issue. Yeah, and the carrier call the manager. Oh my god. So now this is where we're at, man. If y'all want to be white, look, man, I ain't got a problem. If y'all want to be an all white enclave and be the only black person there, cool, cool. Because if it's whiter, it's better. Cool. But it's just like, you know. But when something happens with you, please, 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 because I've seen this happen a million times, even on YouTube. There are a bunch of black conservatives on YouTube that really know they're playing with the hypocrisy because they like, I wanna say it's these black folks, but I don't know how I can spin this one. It's too obvious, but this is out here. But it's like, oh my god, at least the white people smile the more. It's crazy, but well, this is the point. This is the point. You know, and it ain't even a police thing. Because I'm gonna say this. I can involve a police situations because what happens is this. If I've seen, I don't see black conservatives, white conservatives. I don't. This is what I got. If I got to look for it more, I will. But I do not see black conservatives, white conservatives, Asian, Hispanic conservatives say anything about all of these videos where white people are getting into it with police officers. I don't see nothing about that. Nothing. Like I don't see them saying, "Hey, man, you can't. No, you can't. You look, man, you can't be arguing with the police. You can't be causing a scene. You can't. You need to comply." Yeah, I don't see none of that. They cussing, fighting, getting out of the car, trying to swing on people. They don't say nothing. They don't say nothing. They don't say nothing. The videos is out there, and they're consistent. As much as they'll say, that there are more whites that get killed by police every year than blacks, and it's like, okay, show some of them videos, dog. Show some of them videos. Talk about how let's see it. You can't do it because you don't want to go down that road because you don't want to go around it. I can't. See, there are things that being a black conservative you can't defend, so you just don't go down that road. You just won't go down there. It's like it is what it is. The- I had no idea about the thing with Jason Whitlock because I stopped paying Jason Whitlock, paying attention to him a long time ago because it's boy, what I'm about to say finna be so cold blooded. And let me just say this and make this clear. One of the other reasons I don't like politics is because people attribute politics with power, and I look at a lot of people who are overly political as weak. And the reason I say that is because you know most of the time when I see people who are overly political, whether they be on the right or the left, they're soft. You can tell that they're soft. They don't work out. They probably haven't been in a fight in their lives. They're fat. You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. They're mostly non-threatening, and even the ones that try to look threatening, they're. I know the difference between a guy who been active their whole life and a guy. Yeah, they're angry. But people are angry because they never stood up for themselves. That's what politics is. Politics is their way to feel powerful by for a policy, and it's like they make up scenarios. I know the difference between somebody who just, let's just say, has been active, in sports, or even any type of martial arts, or I know the difference between one of those people and a person who turned 25 and then started lifting weights and want to be tough. It's a big difference. It's blatant. That's why, part of me, I don't like that. Even though I'm a gun owner, that's why sometimes I don't like the gun nut thing, because it's like, I get it, bro. That's why everybody carries a gun. Like, y'all carry a gun because y'all want to kill somebody because you scared. You angry and scared. So you try to pick fights to shoot people. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. It's just like, it's silly. Is it? I mean, yeah, yeah, but like, look, I've been in so many environments. Uh, and let me say this: I'm, I ain't been in the hood in years, but I grew up in the hood. I grew up in the hood, man. So, is there violence in the hood? Yeah, when I was there, yeah, but there were way more good days than bad days in the hood, even when it was violent. Way more. You get what I'm saying? And when I say I grew up where they were shooting next door. You know what I'm saying? Like it was way more good days. People over exaggerate, their ideas of the hood. Y'all act like, it's just gang fights and shootings. And don't get it twisted. When I say I grew up in the hood, I'm one of them people. When I went to college, it was uncomfortable because I didn't hear no police sirens. I couldn't sleep because it was too quiet. But it's way more good. It was way more good days. And that's saying something when I'm used to hearing police sirens. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes people don't want to hear, but sometimes there's some stuff really going down, and sometimes it's just over policing. You gotta. It's a bit of both. You know. But that's what you sparred a lot. You know the difference. I still spar now, man. But you know, it's just like and watch this. Watch this. I bet how did they say this? I bet $1 to a donut. You know there are a bunch of people who started lifting weights and thought that weight strength was the same as fighting strength. I could guarantee you ran into a bunch of people who, because I can, I'm a person who can lift heavy. I'm not that big, but I can lift heavy. I bench I bench 315. Okay, yeah, okay. You get your ass knocked out benching 315 too. Like that don't help you. Unless you gonna push me, bench me off of you. That's the only way that's gonna help, player. You know, yeah, bodybuilding is not like, bodybuilding isn't let me say this, as a black man, bodybuilding is something that some black people got into, but it's not really bodybuilding is not really a black thing per se. It took more of a yeah. I mean, at time, and I say this even with some of some of sometimes this the self-hating part of black people that's crooning or conservatives, and even when they liberals, what it is man, some of y'all get money, and then all of a sudden you're political. You're political because I got money now, so I'm trying to be political. And it's like, whatever. Yeah. Like, hey, hey. Depends on the weight class, Playboy. Trust me, I was a wrestler too, man. When I was young, I wrestled. Hey, I was skipping weight classes. I wrestled like 4 or 5 different weight classes. But and you tell her there's some strong wrestlers and there's some wrestlers that just know what they doing. And you got a problem if you're dealing with a person that's strong and they know how to and they know what they doing. It's terrible. They hell on wheels because they don't have to be strong all the time. They could just they could do some shit to you. You be like, how did I wind up like this? Yeah. They're good, but a lot of this stuff is like I said, a lot of y'all get money and y'all feel like I'm better than somebody. I got money, so I'm better than y'all. I got, I've made the most money I've ever made in my life. So now I'm trying to protect my money against you niggas. It's like, bro, what is you talking about? You don't live in those poor neighborhoods anymore, right? You live in affluent neighborhoods. And part of that is, I don't know why this is, but there's this fear. Well, I can't say I don't know why that is. Let me go ahead and get it out there. Let you know. let me go ahead and put this out there. So when you, boy, it's gonna be terrible. So when you go up the ladder, let's just say socially, economically, the there's a fear of color. I ain't even gonna just say black people. There's a fear of color, right? Because you hit a point where white flight is closing in, and what I mean by that is white flight was always one of them things where, oh man, we're gonna always have a place where black people can't be, or we won't run into Asians or Hispanics. We're gonna have this. They ran out of places, dog. They all like in the places that are predominantly white. They don't nobody want to live there. Don't nobody want to live there at all. Even white people don't want to live there. You know, white flight has become, for one, overly expensive. You get what I'm saying? And old, because you can't create anything new where people just ran off to a white flight. That's why you have all these like old towns that people live in, but don't nobody really live in. And it's like, oh man, you're seeing how even gentrification, like gentrification ain't even working no more, because it's like ah we're gonna keep moving back and forth from the hood to the suburbs. No, because it's gonna be you know more integrated in the suburbs, and it's gonna be more integrated in the hood. So we're gonna go further and further and further out, and it's like, yeah, we're gonna go 50 minutes outside the city, okay, and your ass gonna have to drive that gas guzzler of a car to work every day, and that's gonna be taxing. So a lot of this stuff becomes, I don't want to be around these Negroes, and then they're in your neighborhoods, and it becomes a sexual issue. It's all this. Oh, who's gonna have sex with my daughter and my wife? And it's like, Viter. Oh my god. Look, you know what? I got pulled over in Viter years ago because let me tell you what they did with Viter. This is so cold, but it's so true. So if it, so Vida is like, hour some change outside of like maybe close to an hour and a half outside of Houston. So Vida is like, racist, semi sundown town, right? Where if you was black, they pulled you over, they messed with you. Everybody was known like, hey man, if you get past Vida, man, hurry up and get through there. So this what they did in Vida, because the freeway used to be flat, so they could pull you over. They made a ramp over Vida, so now so you ain't even on flat land no more. Once you get the Vida exits that'll get you pulled over and mess with, it's a ramp over that whole section. So you can't get on, can't get off. So it's like, you know what? We done. We sick of this. So it's like, so you can keep your little town. Don't worry about it. Ain't nobody coming. Don't worry. Ain't nobody coming. Everybody going passing through. Because you ain't really stopping in Vida. Like, ain't nobody stopping in Vida. It ain't like it's a college town or nothing. So, it is what it is. But getting back to what I was talking about with the neighborhoods. So you going up in the ladder or whatever in these neighborhoods, they have this thing where they don't want to mingle. And the problem is, in all honesty, I can't say this in no nice way. I'm really trying my best. I'm really trying my In all honesty, bro, they finding out when you get these non-white, these black people moving into the neighborhood, we don't care. We're not moving in the neighborhoods. So many black people move to into these nice suburbs. We don't care. We don't care about your daughter. We don't care about your wife. We don't care about your nieces, your nephews. Everybody trying to mess with your boyfriends, your husband. We don't care. We there minding our own business. We don't care. We're there just because it's cleaner. That's it. And now it's becoming one of those things where it's like, oh, I thought they were gonna come here and just blast music and smoke weed and throw parties. And most of the time, black people just quiet, minding their business, leaving people alone. We don't even talk to them neighbors. Get Every now and then might have a barbecue or crawfish boil, some people over for the fight, but most of them people are so unbothered. As a matter of fact, it's so bad that when you get into those situations, a lot of those people in the neighborhood try to find a reason to come to their house. Oh, it's a barbecue. Let me go over to the neighbor. Don't come over here. I don't know you. It's a crawfish bowl. Oh, they have a Super Bowl party. Oh my God. It's always something like, oh, you got a nice car. Like, okay, whatever. We're not parking outside. We unless you see a young millionaire, normally, even if they flashy, they don't want to be that flashy. Is that so? It's crazy, and you don't want no second class citizen living just like you. You know, yeah, uh, yeah. I'm gonna tell you something that's so true about this. Are they ignorant people in the hood? Yeah, but even ignorant people in the hood don't understand ignorant people in the suburbs, and not because it's like it's quiet. It's not a lot of noise. You don't like when people act ignorant in the suburbs, and I'm not just talking about black people. It's blatant. You did it to be rebellious for attention. You know what I'm saying? Like, because when you're in the hood and you doing that stuff to get attention, you're gonna get arrested. So when you're in the suburbs, it's like, oh, you just doing this because ain't nobody finna crack you upside the head and drag you off. Cause it's no way this is ridiculous. This is normal. And that's just how it is. But I've been on here. Damn, it's like 10:30, dog. Let me get my goofy ass up out of here, man. You know what I'm saying? I got to thank my wife for keeping me calm in the last few days. Because, boy, if y'all knew, I was about to hurt somebody the last few days. But, let me say this. Let me say this. The other thing that I got to say before I go is this. One other thing about the self-hating black conservative is a lot of times they just black people who don't want to see black people do well. That's it. That's what that is. And a lot of y'all don't, sometimes people don't remember it because it was a passing thing. When they used to talk about the Obama effect, and there were black people who didn't like Obama. And a lot of times these black people didn't like, they equated it to the black people who didn't like Obama because they were supposed to be the only exceptional black person in the room. And now he ruined it. You know what I'm saying? So that's part of this thing where you got self-hating black conservatives that want to be the only successful black person in the room. So that's what that's about. I don't want somebody to look to be on my level in black. And that's part of the issue, because you got black people who are just successful and they don't care about none of that, appeasing anybody. They just doing them. And you got black people that need the attention of white people. See, I'm this special one. I'm this special Negro. And that's a whole little internal battle that people have. But it is what it is. Yeah. But a lot of people, yeah, I get it. But I'm gonna leave it at that now. So now I can get up out of here, man. Y'all have a great one, man. Catch y'all on the next one. Peace. This looks like a job for Superman. Do this, spoken from the lips of the young or the old, fear of me. Yeah, gotta put it all in. And they are Superman all the way. I guess I'm taking off the cape through the glasses in the trash. Being super is great, saving y'all is such a drag. Even God took a break, me I ain't coming back. I got one life to live, if you don't like it, that's your ass. Cause nobody saved me, cause when I'm drunk, I'm just a peon. I could use somebody just like I'm the kings of neon. This world is cold as ice, mixed with salt, mixed with freon. They got me pissed off, but that's better than being peed on. For eons, human beings took kindness for weakness. When you constipated, you start to appreciate shit. Put before you life and death, and you just gotta choose. The kryptonite life means you still follow the rules. If your credit's messed up or your bills ain't paid, then it's getting disconnected. Can't nobody say the day. And I can fly, leave a building in a single bound, but I can't stand fair weather friends, and I just fly around. My super friends is Justice League. Only folk I kick it with. Kill Lex Luthor, so what? We had to finish it. Kids play games and adults play for keeps. And me, I play to win, but I ain't playing in these streets. And life is not a joke. Then again, it ain't this serious. Superman can say the day, but God can say the Superman. Saga of the kryptonite, life just ended. You enjoy listening? Man, I finished it. Lois, come holler at me. I got an ice couch. Thank you for coming out. Listen, I knew you would like it because we made it. I'm so frigid and so fly.